Yep, it's these two. Hi.
It's us again.
Yeah.
Are you getting tired of us?
Mm. Are you tired of us?
No,
Neither am I. Well, as long as
no.
we're not, I guess we'll just have to feel that all the way through. So we thought we'd jump on here and
We are in our well, forever now, our retreat room and our retreat space. And it's very calm and peaceful down here. Let me tell you a story. I'm gonna pretend Lee's not here. You guys do that too. Okay. Um, when we moved into this house, there's an office and it's carpeted and it's painted and it's dark purple. Y'all saw it. It's dark purple. I had this stuff in there. And I made him an office. And I put him in there. And he didn't like it. I mean, he didn't like it. He just didn't like it. That was all there is to it. I feel like it was too dark in there. So as the universe would have it, this room had been started but not completed. Had been drywalled, just not taken. Nevertheless, we moved Lee up into the family room. And well, that was a lot. So now we have a workspace and it's great and it's light and it's sort of,
it's a healing space.
yeah.
I believe anybody we brought down into it at this point goes, oh, and then they want to stay down here. So it's like, yeah, we there. I was in a room off of this room,
Yeah.
and this room was just in shambles. So I think it was still adjusting.
You kind of felt like maybe you were in the office in the basement, tucked into the basement.
Actually, I went from being 2 levels up to now 2 levels below.
Yeah.
So it was like an up and down because when we were at the other house before we lost it,
Well, you can go ahead and say I blew it up. That's fine.
I was up in our bedroom doing most of it. And there was always healing in our bedroom because that's where you got your transplant and everything. There was just a ton of energy.
There was healing in that house.
So it's
I
interesting.
hated the house, but there was healing in it.
When I came here, I didn't feel that healing energy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that the room was uncomfortable. It's just the healing that we've grown. And if you look at around the room now, everything that we had with this when we started this is like in little places in this room.
Yeah.
So it has that, all of that energy, all of that love, all of that connection is here. And now I can be anywhere in the house.
Yeah.
I really can. I can really, because this is the foundation.
Yeah. And though, you know, what's interesting? I've turned that little office room into flamingo heaven. There's flamingos everywhere.
A woman cave. That's what she's
it's
made.
A she room.
She's made a she cave.
I've got my crafts in there, my Cricut machines in there, my t-shirt making things and all my things are in there. And I'll be doing my personal podcast from in there. And then I've got Canter Granny Corner. There's a lot going on. And it's fun. It's nothing that has drug us down. It's been fun, I feel, hasn't it? We had a house full before Christmas. Listen, we had a house full of people coming in and out, workers, right? Coming at drywalling and putting the ceiling in and putting the floor in. And we didn't move anything out of this room. Those guys put it all in the middle and worked around it. I felt horrible. And I did. But they were here for a week. They kept coming in and out. Dogs were losing their mind. They didn't speak in English, so it was hard to understand if they needed, I got aqua. I got it. I understand. I got it. They were thirsty and needed some water. I handled that. But anything else, I got them to the restroom. That was good. That was good. We need babble over here. We're going to try to babble some other languages, possibly.
Absolutely.
We've been trying, but it's hard. I don't know. I got aqua. Oh, and mi familia. I got that. I know what he was talking about. Oh, what was that dude's name? So he was trying to figure out how to get the music on. Like, what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? And he gave me a name.
Yeah.
He gave me a name and I turned it on and he was like, yeah. And I was like, there we go. I'm out. Chris,
I don't know.
It's fun. something Pachia.
I don't
I
remember,
don't even.
but it was cool. It was cool. It was, it's really surreal how connection has us in this space anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
My lips are dry. Deal with it.
we, Sherry brought something to me earlier, and I think I'm still in it. So I would like to talk a little bit about it. Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit about what healing is versus what it isn't.
Mm.
Um,
Ooh.
there's therapy, which is you can go sit with somebody and they can listen to your whole story and follow everything all the way through. And then there's healing, which is somebody disrupting your pattern. And what I mean by that is if you've ever done 30 minutes or if you've ever done sessions with me, if you've ever done anything with where we're at, disrupting your pattern means that I'm going to stop you from doing what you're doing to your feelings.
Mm.
I'm not here to let you keep doing that to your feelings and telling a story about it and staying away from the feeling that really needs the connection so it can heal. And it can come across really brash. It can come across really harsh. I mean, it's really hard to stomach. I mean, people kind of get upset when I ask, okay, well, I know we want to talk about what's happening with them, but let's talk about what you're doing to you, because we can't really stop a pattern or at least give somebody some insight into connection without really getting them to see what they're doing to themselves in connection first.
Can I give him the example I gave him with the person?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So I said to him, um, having this room that we do this healing in, right? It's my goal and always been my goal to try to have the house, the upstairs that we have done, nevertheless, and come down here and be. So I'm down here present a lot more, listening when he's in session. And when you're listening and you pick up on some things. And he was in session the other day, but and I know you guys are going to get this if you've talked to Lee. And it's not a bad thing. Because he's going to explain to you why it's not a bad thing. But I noticed that, and listen, it's not just when he's in session, because we could talk personally too. But I noticed that when people are talking, Lee will come in sort of brash and interrupt, right? And I'm in my head thinking there's got to be a better way, to do this. So I gave him an example. So a woman comes to you and she says, well, it all started, my dad left when I was 5. That would be the moment that Lee would be, okay, there, stop. But there's so much more here, right? And he doesn't have the full story yet. So why is he stopping me? Right? So behind that could be, and I'm clearly making this up, but behind that could be, after she said my dad left at 5. I'm making this up, by the way. This isn't a real story. I'm sure it is somewhere, but my dad left at 5. And if he stops her there, right? And then first of all, she would be like, but there's so much more. And he would be like, whoa, right? Behind that could very well be, but he came back when I was 6 and they got along great, but then he killed my mom and me and my cousin were there, and then he killed my cousin and I ran out the door, right? You see how much more severe the rest of it was? So if we can figure out a way for it to not be so, I don't know the word I want to use,
Would just let it unfilter.
rude.
There, that's fine.
Rude.
I have no judgment, so that's
Right.
fine.
So if there's a different way, but then, right, I want you to kind of, and I'm going to grab some water.
Well, I'm going to explain why that happens.
And
Um,
I water in this room because there's a refrigerator.
Yeah, there is. I don't know if anything's exploded in it, but good luck. So okay, so what causes that? Well, what I pay attention to is everything that that person is feeling. And I'm in my pain, paying attention to what they're doing to their pain as they start to talk about the story. This is not something that I do that I want or just do. It's like an automatic, it's autopilot, right? But it's an autopilot from my inner child. So if I hear a 5-year-old and then I watch you dump a whole entire story on that 5-year-old without asking, how did that 5-year-old feel when they lost their father? Everything that you're going to say thereafter is what's landed on top of that 5-year-old that lost their father, even if they came back at 6. So I need to go make sure that that feeling, first of all, has a point of where there is a point of contact. Because when has that 5-year-old had a point of contact about their father leaving? I'm already seeing that that's already not happened. So it's almost like you have to slow down and figure out what's disconnected first. So if I let you go on with your story, all I'm hearing is what disconnected from that point on. We're not paying attention to what disconnected then. That's the point. The point is, you learned that a man you're connected to left. And now you got a whole story behind it. But the feeling that that put in you, who paid attention to that? Who really let you feel what that felt like when you realized your father was not there, when your father wasn't there to tuck you in, find out your growth, find out how you think now, find out how you feel now. All of that disappeared. So when you say that, I'm already in the pain. Where you're going now is all of the aftermath, the hurts that this kind of pain caused. So it's not that I'm trying to be rude or stop them. If you really let yourself feel what I'm saying is, there's somebody on the planet who will pay attention to that feeling first. Because when has anybody done that? You're not going to realize you don't trust connection until something like that keeps happening to you. So what I've seen is the pattern. I mean, even with the sessions that I put out there, you're going to see me doing that. Francisco and I, we decided he wanted to do his healing, but couldn't do it. So I said, here's what we'll do. Let's heal the world. So what you're seeing in those is you're seeing that kind of interruption and disruption and where it's supposed to go. What ends up happening is you sit there and start holding in all that pain, not realizing I'm paying attention to 5-year-old you. And I'm watching what you're doing to 5-year-old you, and you're worried about what this person is doing to not 5-year-old you, to the current you. And I'm going, no, they're mimicking what you're doing to 5-year-old you. If you go past this point with me, I can feel it. And I can feel all the pain that it's going to cause. So if we don't connect to 5-year-old you, when you bring that up, I'm not doing anything for you. Nobody is. Because that 5-year-old still has not had an audience for that feeling that they carry of loss. Everything that happens thereafter is the hurt. I agree. And I'm not saying that hurt isn't important. I'm saying the 0 point is the 5-year-old. And most people were looking for what 0 point is. 0 point is where you go into a point into your pain where it's at its greatest point, and it makes you look at everything completely new. So if I can't get you back to 5-year-old you, anything that we're going to do is just a Band-Aid. We realize this because we've done enough root camps. We sat with people after asking them 11 questions. We did the work to figure out why connection isn't happening. So we got to bring connection to where connection is. Connection is the 5-year-old. The 5-year-old now has an adult story. The 5-year-old still has feelings, still has see, hear, smell, touch, taste. All the senses are very important to the 5-year-old. Your current self, not so much. So anything that happened, the translation is going to be a lot easier if the 5-year-old's along to come along and talk about how it felt. Because really, after you lost a man you're connected to, a man sitting in front of you isn't going to be able to pull any feelings from you. So I have to acknowledge what happened to 5-year-old you, because you don't have a father who did that.
And then when does the 6-year-old you come after the 5-year-old you?
The 5-year-old will actually start talking about what happened to the 6-year-old.
Right.
and start talking about it. But we gotta at first establish the hurt and the loss that was experienced in one space. So it's like you can sit there and you can come and sit with us for 30 minutes, but within probably the first 2 minutes of you talking, I've already felt pain you're walking past. If I'm watching you walk past your pain and I don't stop you, I'm abandoning you too. I can't do that. And it comes across rude. And I'm not meaning to be rude. I'm just making it a point to say these feelings that you have right here need connection. They're not going to heal. The same things are going to keep happening because you haven't had connection there. If you have connection there, how can everything be the same? Maybe that's the question.
Well,
But it also points to how you heal.
is it two? I've got to ask you because y'all are wanting to know. I know. At least there's two. At least there's 2 or 3 women out there that want to know.
Okay.
At least. Is it a completely different scenario? Say we're having conflict, you and I,
Mhm.
and you left the microwave open and you didn't vacuum the floor, and you know what I mean, all this, and we're finally, but we're still in our heads, but we're finally calm, but we're still in our heads, clearly, right? And you and I are throwing things back and forth to each other, right? And I finally he'll start to, okay, this is, it started yesterday, blah, 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 right?
Right.
Oh, stop. No, no, right? You know what I mean? Those things that happen like in conflict
Mhm.
when they're interrupting each other. It's not just one, it's both, right? Because you don't want each other to speak because what they're saying is bullshit and you feel, right? No, 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 that bullshit. And your favorite line is, that's that bullshit right there. That's that bullshit right there. When he says that,
Are you triggered?
woo, child. But I mean, seriously, is it completely different type of scenario, or right? Are you hearing me come up with pain or bring pain from 2 days ago, and now I'm just like, bah. Does that make
Well,
sense?
this folds in me two ways. The way that it folds in me is if I'm triggered, it takes me, I'm way quicker at it now than I used to be. It takes me, if depending on how deep the pain
Depending
is.
on how bad I've triggered him at the
Well,
moment.
it's not, it's not that you triggered me.
Real
I'm
good
the
at it.
trigger in me.
I'm real
So
good at though. I'm real good at finding them triggers.
I'm really good at knowing when you are not going to connect to my feelings and when you are.
Right.
That's the issue. If I felt like I could let myself just know that you're always connected to my feelings, we wouldn't have conflict.
Right.
But what ends up happening is if my feeling is there and you come at me and I have to go to my head, I've now abandoned that feeling. And that's
Right.
where the attack comes from.
Right.
And it's not easy to see because it's different for every person. Our childhood traumas, yours are very significant in one space and mine's very significant in another space.
Yeah.
The bridge that we've created there is the difference.
Right.
That's the bridge that I'm trying to show them. They have to create in themselves in order to let somebody connect to them.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
when I sit, and then if you notice when I come back, I've
Where'd you go?
Well,
Come back.
where did I go? I disconnected from the me inside that felt everything.
Okay.
So now I could be angry and I can be in a role where I can just not feel anything for anyone or any way. And then my understanding is really attacking because that's what understanding does to
You
me.
used a curse word.
What was that?
He used a curse word. He used a bad word. You, Lee Patterson, used the word understanding.
Oh no. I thought we
We
cleared the
did.
air. We cleared the air on this.
With it.
Let us clear the air on
We
this.
didn't clear it with it.
Understanding does one thing and one thing only. It directs somebody to go from their mind into where you're at in the space that doesn't connect to how you feel. And you're not paying attention to how they feel, and they can't pay attention to how you feel. Understanding is always going to be mind. Feeling has its own set of rules for understanding. If she's connected to my feelings and she lets me connect to hers, That's understanding for me. If we're in our head and I'm trying to hold my mental position, I'm not doing anything for my feelings, and I'm going to blame her for it because I've got to now be in my head over some feelings that I don't feel the same way about. This is what we didn't learn about how to let our feelings connect to each other. But we have been really studying you guys. We know when we're in a feeling together, and I'm telling you, we're in this feeling now that we've never felt. And it feels so infinite. It feels so free.
Yeah.
But I believe it's free because we let go of connections that were using us. We weren't holding on to connections that were feeding our connection. And we got that. Our wounds probably created that. Actually, I would say we're 1000% sure our wounds created that reality. The wound, however, has found an endpoint, which we're in. And I believe this is the first time we're experiencing a 0 point together over what's done with people we're connected to. And for us, we didn't mean for that to happen. It's just the way it happened because of all the events that happened from the time we were children. If we keep ignoring those children, all of that stays disconnected. But we're now devoted to paying attention to these children and us, with each other, with anyone who comes in this energy field. So it's very important for us, for you to realize that soul connection is a real thing. It has it doesn't have rules like your mind wants it to have. It doesn't have this ability to go into your imagination and tell you what it's supposed to be. It's just a soul connection, which is much more pure when you don't know what it is.
And it's much more powerful than this twin flame
Spark.
spark, or what you call journey or connection.
Yeah.
You literally have to go through that to get to a soul connection, which is, I mean, we're clearly not there 100%. We still have brains, right? We still think. It's unfortunate, but we have to. I don't know if it's 100% attainable, right? To not think, because you have to. We're human. However, it's very much like reaching samadhi on a spiritual level, right?
Absolutely.
It's very much a samadhi space.
It's consciousness aware.
Right.
Um, and I would say we have little points still, but I believe it's points that we're still exposing to each other, ways that we are inside, ways that we're discovering we are inside. We're not sitting here trying to convince ourselves that we're anything other than connected to each other. We know that. We know without there was never been anything I've been more sure about than it is to have my connection to her, to its core. And what that means is if I have to hide my pain or my hurt, I'm disconnecting not just from her, but from myself. So if I can't let her in, if I'm hurting and in pain, there is no connection. We know each other's hurt and pain. We know it more than we've even probably shared here. And we live it, and we stay connected in it. And it's not like anything we've seen because we didn't see this. We're learning it here and now. And it's so vastly different. It's so connected. You don't have to have thoughts inside of yourself and suffer. You actually can have a connection to someone who will sit with you and not try to change it. But when you feel their feeling with that feeling, you can't think that way anymore. It's different. It's so different because you don't know how to change thought. And this feeling, this soul connection, will change your mind. It will change your mind. It'll change your life. It'll change your pain. It'll even show you multiple ways to look at pain that you've been through, to show you what it was teaching you or what you learned from it. Because some of the things that we learned from our pain, we didn't get the point. But I believe we're at the stage where we're getting the point.
For sure.
So I hope that clarifies it. I'm not, look, maybe I should be more descriptive in the beginning to say, hey, anything that comes out of you, I'm paying attention to a child in you that you're not aware of just yet. But I'll make it known pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
I'm probably going to interrupt you, but I
and,
need to.
and the need is for that you in there that nobody's paid attention to that feeling.
Right.
You have a feeling. She brought this feeling to me, woke me up to some pain because I was ignoring my pain. You need that. That person comes into your life and activates your pain. You need them.
Right.
You don't need them to be with you. You need them to show you why you're in pain because you have the answer. You just haven't chosen what's caused the pain to heal it.
Mm.
So if we can stop you in that pain and let you open up that pain, how could you not have connection?
Mm. Ooh.
So I'm sorry for the fight. It's just the kid in me has to bring something out in you because what's in you is more important than what you haven't let out of you. Does that make sense? It's so important to let this come out because you need connection.
Mm.
You will not trust anything if you don't have it. Was that pretty clear?
It is. Yeah.
So for anybody who felt that I didn't listen to what you said, ask yourself, did I feel what you said? Maybe that's the way to, I can only tell you where I'm coming from. I'm coming from how it feels. I'm not coming from what you think. I don't think like that. She'll tell you. It's not like living with somebody who thinks all the time. I'm in flow and she'll go, what are you doing? she does. I do random shit, but I love the shit I'm doing. If I'm sitting here,
I'm always going, what are you doing? And I would feel that would be coming from you because I'm the one always doing dumb shit. So there's been a few times when you're like, what are you doing? I'm just like, let me finish. But I'm
I don't feel
constantly,
like you do dumb shit. I
no,
just feel like you're doing
I do
something. I'm
dumb
like, what are
shit.
you doing though? I mean,
I do dumb
to me,
shit.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't judge the shit you do. And then I'm doing shit. And then when you ask, I'm like,
What are you
is this
doing?
weird to do this? I don't
Yeah,
know.
because I ask in that manner, what are you doing?
You'll know.
Because it could be anything. Like he could be finger painting and freaking and shaving cream on the kitchen counter. Like, what are you doing?
I'm going to tell you the one thing
Yeah.
that a really beautiful man named Lester said to me.
Oh no. My dad.
And I don't know
That
the
man's
man. I mean, we've never met in the physical,
he was a mess.
but he says, you know what, you know how you'll know when you're healing openly, right? I said, huh? He says, you'll know when you're healing openly, right? And I just felt this energy come out of me and it says, yeah, when I can have the innocence I had as a child again.
Mm, that was deep.
It's the truth.
If I could have my innocence back. Ooh,
Who said you
Lord.
can't? You don't let somebody outside of you dictate that. You let what's going on inside of you dictate that.
Yeah.
That's what's hard to see. And it's hard to see because of the story. So if I break you from the story, it's because I'm paying attention to the feeling. Because when did you ever follow the feeling to see where it leads you?
Right.
Well, the feelings have led us to each other.
Yeah.
That's the difference between us and everybody else, is our feelings, no matter how painful they were, brought us together. Then why is their pain ripping them apart? And what we did is we went and did root camp and we started paying attention. And Sherry was right. She pointed right at what causes it. You lose your ability to know that connection exists based on your family principles, family dynamics, things that happen to you. It's not your fault you don't have connection. It's your fault you won't wake up to connection. That's how hard it is. And until you have somebody who fights for that in you, you'll be without you. Connection is a real thing.
And if you rewind that to where it's like 27, you'll hear Lee say Sherry was right.
Yeah, I think we'll make a short out of that.
It's, we'll need that documented. Um, I'm usually never
As
right.
beautiful as you
I'm
are,
usually never right.
your beauty is just as smart.
I used to want right. It's not important.
I found that, yeah, over the
Right's
years,
not important.
being
What's
right,
right?
being
Yeah.
right is the worst thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good
It doesn't feel good to be
at
right.
all.
It does not.
Being right
Yeah.
never felt good.
You know what I do sometimes now? I'm serious. I do this a lot when we're out in public or when we're with a group of friends or whatever. If somebody's talking to me, and it's usually cannabis related, right? Because I'm a connoisseur and I'm super educated in it. But when
No upwards. No, none.
none. So somebody trying and here's me trying not to be, in my ego or in my head, right? Because it's yeah, it's a journey to try not to do that. I promise you. Try it for a week. It's rough. But hearing somebody tell me something that is so far off the mark, right? It is a completely false statement. The old me would have wanted to correct them and be right. Right? There are times now when I just don't say nothing. I just keep my mouth shut. There are other times, it depends on how important it is, right? There are other times that I'm like, yeah, but there's another side to this, right? Where I'll just give them another point of view, not an opinion, but sort of another point of view,
Right.
right? If it'll guide them in the right direction. But if I get in response, no, but all right, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm willing to learn anything, but know that I'm going to vet the information.
True, but there's always a way to find the truth. The truth is going to be found in your feelings. It's not going to be found in your thoughts, and it's not going to be found in what you've had to do with the hurt, the pain that you still have no connection in.
Right.
You will make complete bullshit stories based off of it.
Right.
Because the pain is demanding some kind of release.
Yeah.
The release isn't found in telling the bullshit. The release is found in feeling the bullshit.
Yeah.
Because the bullshit isn't real.
Yeah.
The feeling is trying to tell you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The feeling doesn't need blame.
Yeah.
Too much blame does nothing for pain. It just causes it to spill everywhere. So I guess until you decide that you don't want to spill your pain and you want to heal it,
Yeah.
that's how you'll find us.
That's it. And we are going to stop here because we've been on for 33 minutes and we don't want to bore you, but we've got to engage our members. So we're going to go over there for a minute or two. And we're putting videos out in the membership end of this. So really consider member, and
We're flooding that with content.
here's interesting information for members. Listen at this. So we are going to be offering so monthly. So we're going to be offering monthly what are we calling that?
Disrupting connection.
Yeah, so
it's literally what we're talking about here is
yeah.
that you're talking
So you
about
give so much a month.
Yep.
And what is the sessions?
The sessions would be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And
how many a week?
One a week. If you want to do 2 a week, it's more.
Yeah.
Of course, we're doing it in a way where you can actually have somebody you're connecting to weekly, because if you go towards connection, what happens is you find connection.
Right.
We keep seeing that has been the flow. People who've actually sat with us end up coming out of it, and somehow, some way, connection finds them.
That's right.
It's what we're doing with the feeling that's doing that, not what your head wants to do. Believe me, there's enough stuff on the internet anywhere to find just tons of information about stuff you can cram into your head that doesn't even impact your feelings. It still ignores them.
Right.
So if you're living somebody else's life and you're ready to live your own, then you'll need your pain for that. That's why we're here.
We are open for retreats. We are ready
now
for retreats.
The room's good. I think we're done.
You will come and stay in our home with us. We have plenty of room. I sound like the girl from Christmas Vacation when Eddie and them showed up. We've got plenty of room, plenty of towel. um, yeah, we do. We've got, and by the way, it'll only be the three of us or the four of us if you bring somebody, right?
Yeah,
So
we're doing a couple.
it's only going to be us. There'll be nobody else here. It'll be very private. And there's so much that can go on in this room. We have space for yoga, we have space for Tai Chi, we have space for Reiki.
And the beautiful thing about all of it, we have space for your pain.
And
Do you have space in your current environment for your
you're
pain?
gonna leave a lot of it here.
We're going to shape a lot of it here.
Yeah.
And what you do take with you is going to get you loved. That's the way to look at it, because pain does one thing extremely well. It gets you loved. But until you choose your pain, you won't know that.
We're ready. We're ready.
We're coming.
We're ready. So all you do, we get with you personally and we go over food options, right? Menus and things. We'll definitely cater to any type of food or vegan, vegetarian, meat eaters, whatever. We'll accommodate you in any way we can, and we will go over menus and food with you. All you've got to do is get to either Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio. You fly in, you drive in. If you drive in, you'll come straight here. But if you fly in, we'll come get you from the airport. We'll pick and we'll drop you back off. You come here, you'll stay here, we'll eat here. There'll be a couple field trips or a field trip. To a, we're gonna go to a beautiful spiritual place.
We're going to show you the child in you never knew was there.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun, but
It's very important that
important.
happens.
It's so deep. There's gonna be crying, a lot of it, and that's okay. That's okay.
You need connection to that.
Yeah. We're gonna heal with you.
Always.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Do not doubt that we don't heal in every aspect of everything we've done. Every pain that we've taken on and every pain that we've ever had isn't hidden here. It's very open, so it can heal.
Hmm.
So if that's what you're looking for, you found us. We thank you guys for subscribing, for liking. If you're sharing, please share, because we believe connection should grow. We don't want this message to go away. We want connection to get stronger. We want to live in a world where connection is all we talk about. Because if we're talking about being connected, why can't we be? Why can't it just happen? Why can't our feelings finally have a place where they exist in this world? And it's only going to happen through connection, not without it. So hope you join us.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
We'll see y'all
See you
soon.
soon.